Welcome to another edition of MBC Sports. Before we take a look at the athletes making the news here at MHS, let's check out some of the sports headlines in the minute. This past Friday night, the Comets traveled to Lakota East and ruined their homecoming festivities by knocking off the Thunderhawks 28-14. The defense was a force in the victory, holding East scoreless in the second half. The Comets will be tested this Friday when the Princeton Vikings invade Atrium Stadium. The cross-country teams continue to prepare for their upcoming postseason with the competitions in some of the area's toughest meets. This past weekend, both squads came home victorious from the Midwest Meet of Champions at Hillard. And finally, varsity basketball player Brianna Glover made it official. She will continue her basketball career at Xavier University next season. Glover decided on Xavier after strongly considering Dayton and Louisville. Now let's take a closer look at some of the sports happening here at MHS. Many traditional sports make headlines, but there are some who like to play sports just for the fun of it. Alex Yelling caught up with some golfers who don't have to worry about carrying around a heavy bag of clubs when they hit the links.
Frisbee golf, an emerging sport for high school students, is becoming popular in parks around the tri-state. It's an inexpensive, exciting way to burn some time on a nice day. And best of all, only for the price of a Frisbee. Caleb DeVore enjoys playing his games of Frisbee golf at Mason Sports Park.
I started playing disc golf because all my friends, they started playing, and they asked me to go once. They had a few extra discs, and I was like, why not? And it turned out to be really fun. Obstacles, it varies from course to course, but a lot of disc golf courses are in woods, and a lot of woods around here have trees in them, so trees usually tend to be an obstacle.
Very similar to golf, not just any Frisbee can be used for this game. Ashton Vandenmark, Mason graduate, describes to us the elaborate process of making these discs live via Skype from China.
There are a few steps to the design and manufacturing of the disc. First, we put it into a CAD program and use a lot of aerodynamic flow, try to understand how the disc is going to behave before we ever make it. Once we're ready to start making some discs, the first thing we need to decide on is what plastic to use. So these aren't the best looking discs, but that's not the purpose. We want to see, all right, does this plastic have the right kind of flexibility, durability, and the right grip? Once we have a plastic blend, we want to go and start cranking up the volume on the color, making something players can see in the grass as well as something that players are going to see in the store. And finally, put some art together and slap it on the disc so you have a final product that you can mass produce and sell.
For most players, Frisbee golf is a way to get out of the house, see friends, and spend some time in the great outdoors. And if you're lucky and you don't lose your Frisbee in the woods, there's always that chance you'll hit the basket and hear those sweet, sweet chains. I'm Alex Yellig, MBC Sports.
Almost all teams have some team rituals to help them when they need extra motivation. As Brandy Emerson reports, the cross-country teams are no different when they are looking for that extra edge.
It's about the only time the cross-country team is together, at the start line. But for the rest of the race, it can be pretty lonely, even painful, and it can take a toll on a runner both physically and emotionally.
Cross-country is pretty much an individual sport. While collective times are gathered to determine the placement of their team, it's the individuals who must trudge along in solitude, pushing their bodies to extremes, while there is no one there to reach out a hand and pick them up when they fall.
It is the runner and the ground beneath their feet, the sound of their breathing, alone with their thoughts, while their mind may be begging them to stop, and at the same time, their heart drives them to continue onward, alone. While the runner wages an inner war to continue on, it's often little things that help encourage them to keep moving, and for the members of the girls' cross-country team, a simple one-word reminder helps them continue their lonely journey.
The girls' cross-country team writes "Believe" on their arm because when we're running 3.1 miles, it gets to that point where you just want to fall down and die because it gets so hard. But when you look down on your arm and you see "Believe," you know you can keep going and you know you can finish hard for your team.
While the girls' runners have "Believe" stamped across their wrists, the runners on the boys' team run with a drive that comes from a Spanish slogan that encourages them to fight until the very end.
Our team slogan is "A la muerte," and it is a Spanish saying that means "to the death." And our coaches made it up because they are both Spanish teachers and went to Spain. And it is very motivational in practice when I just look up and see a kid with that green shirt on with the "A la muerte" saying, and I know deep down in my heart and soul that I can go and run until my death.
It's a lonely sport, a singular endeavor. Their times will be collected to determine the fate of their team, but if one individual falters, it affects everyone else. Rudyard Kipling once said, "The strength of the pack is the wolf, and the strength of the wolf is the pack." This is no more evident than for the runners of the Mason cross-country team, who trudge through creeks, across muddy paths, and endure wretched pain, all in their quest to reach the finish line. I'm Brandy Emerson, MBC Sports.
Once again, videographers Aaron Kearney and Marty Summerall headed out to capture some more footage in their most recent installment of Sounds from the Sidelines. Today, Aaron and Marty check out the grueling sport of cross country.
To be a strong runner,
I think it really takes
all it takes is speed,
self-will,
a lot of mental toughness and mental courage,
determination, and
hard work, courage, and endurance.
Mental determination,
dedication in the off-season,
self-will.
To be a great runner,
you just have to believe.
The sport is not for women. These kids come in. Push it out there.
Cross country, it's a real sport. All the other ones, they're just games.
There seems to be endless talent walking these halls, and with some of the stories of these talented performers and artists, here's Annie Clark with the Arts and Entertainment Report. Welcome back to NBC's Arts and Entertainment Report. Before we get to some of the students putting their creative minds to use, let's check out some of the top headlines in the minute. This past week at Mason High School's College Fair, art schools from all across the nation were in attendance. DAP from right here in Cincinnati, Ringling College of Art and Design from Sarasota, Florida, Pratt Institutes from upstate New York, and many more. Students were able to showcase their portfolios and pick up information regarding admissions to these schools. The band, Vivid Youth, consisting of seniors Tyler Gunn, Camden Mosier, Zach Messer, and former graduate Bradley Kennedy, are hosting a free concert and pizza party on October 22nd. For more information regarding the location and other details, check out Vivid Youth on Facebook. The MHS Choir is getting tuned up and ready for their first concert on October 24th in the MHS Auditorium. Senior Jessie Whitaker loves photography, so much that she turned her passion for the art into a business. Jessie Whitaker Photography is taking senior portraits for those still in need. To look at this talented student's work, log on to Facebook and check out Jessie Whitaker Photography. When Dracula originated in 1897, it took on a life of its own. It was performed in theaters all across the world and has now landed its way into Mason's own stage. Olivia Rabella has a story on the performers who walk the halls by day and look for new victims by night.
David Gill wants to suck your blood. Mild-mannered by day, even kind of innocent and funny, but something weird happens when the sun goes down. David Gill, the key player in the upcoming MHS Drama Department's performance of Dracula, transforms into the Prince of Darkness. When drama director Alan Young started casting for the role of Dracula, David Gill stood out as a natural choice to play the role.
It's really interesting with David because if you see him in the hallway, he is the least frightening human being you've ever met in your entire life. But it's within him. He's got it within him to kind of bring it to the character. So again, with the voice work and the movement, he really he gives an ominous presence.
The MHS senior is excited to shed his image as an everyday good guy to play the part of an evil character who is thirsty for blood.
I want to scare the audience out of their pants, kind of, just because the goal with our show is to, do well in the Cappy's Gala, which is like the awards ceremony at the end of the year, and also to scare our audience, because, it's a Halloween season, and we just kind of want to have fun with the show. So our ultimate goal is to really make it the most frightening experience possible for our audience members.
The performance of Dracula promises to be a scary thriller that is keeping the entire crew on their toes. There's plenty of blood and props to get ready in order to make this show as realistic as possible.
I think that the props really affect this show a lot. We have numerous props this show. We have from mallets to stakes to skulls to skeletons to a whole bunch of blood bags, blood pumps, teeth, knives that have blood on them, everything.
Dracula debuts October 28th in the Black Box Theater. With a villain who thirsts for the fresh taste of blood, this fall's performance promises to be one that has audience members clenching their necks in fear that the Prince of Darkness is lurking in the dark, ready to strike his next victim. I'm Olivia Rubella, MBC News.
That's it for this edition of MBC's Arts and Entertainment. Now back to Allie as she wraps up today's broadcast.
Thanks for joining us for today's edition of MBC News. We have a lot to celebrate here at MHS, and in our final piece today, we bring you a video of celebration. During the school day, students have to act pretty calm, take notes, and listen to lectures. But after school, they can get a little wild. Videographers Abby Sullivan, Tim Reel, and Jessica Pasquale caught some of Mason High School's finest acting a little crazy. As always, we're committed to bringing you the news of the students making the news here in Comic Country. For everyone in front of and behind the cameras, I'm Allie Eckes.